So here's the first look at the platform, right? Instead of having a spreadsheet or a Monday board or something like that, you share with the customer a portal where they can log in, they can have a look at everything that's going to happen throughout the onboarding process. So let's say it's a 60-day process for a BI company. You can put a bit of an overview as to what's going on, right? Then down here, we've got all of the tasks that need to happen in chronological order. We're grouping here by what we are referring to as deliverables. So if I click on this deliverable, it's essentially a number of tasks that, when all completed, mean that we are able to deliver on that particular part of the project. Some of these you do, some of it the customer does. And some of the customer related things might be that they need to get trained up, or you might want them to provide you with data, for example. And so as we start to look into here, some of these tasks might be best off explained by way of a video. You might want to put some resources on here as well, some things that you need to download, but we're trying to make it super clear. This is what you need to do in this step, and here is a 30-second video on how to do that one thing, right? If the customer gets stuck at any point, they can click comment, they can have a conversation with you, and everything's kind of grouped within the application. So no more of a need to have emails flying around, things getting lost in inboxes or shared presentations or anything like that. Everything is all in one place. And one of the key things that we like to drive is transparency of information. So as you can see here, you can see all the changes that I've made in here. If the customer's doing the same, all of that information is tracked within the application. Okay, so this you can co-brand with your customer. We've got a white labeling option as well. And with that, I'll share with you, I was having a conversation with a customer not too long ago, and they said, well, it's another thing. Like, everyone's tech stack's quite bloated, and we want customers to come onto our platform, and then we're asking them straight away, go and have a look at Ascendr. It's like another application, right? So after a bit of head scratching, we actually came up with a solution. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is our demonstration application. So imagine this being your application. It's just like a placeholder. So the customer goes to your application and they sign in as they normally would. But what you can do is create a menu item on the left-hand side for onboarding, and you click on sign in, and here we're in, right? This particular account has got access to multiple projects. So I'm just going to pick the one we were looking at earlier. But the customer doesn't have to leave your application to actually manage the onboarding. Now, if we look slightly further down the line, I'd like to have it so that the notifications in here trigger your in-app notifications, keeping them stickier yet within your product, without the need to kind of come out. You can still kind of communicate with them through Ascendr, but the customer doesn't realize it. They are actually just within your application. Okay. Now, your view of Ascendr is a bit different. So let me go back over to here, and I'm going to log in as what you would see. So as I log in, you can see here are a list of all of the customers that are going through onboarding at any one point. So we've got like a super high level overview of what's going on. And I'm going to pick this project. This is the one that I was showing you on the portal. We've got activities, we've got transparency as to what's going on. The deliverables and the tasks are exactly as they were in the portal that I showed earlier, with one key difference. If I go to the tasks here, we have this one that's shown in blue. It's really easy to just change things between being internal, i.e. our blue tasks, and public facing. So it might be, as I said before, raising invoices, closing down the deal in HubSpot or Salesforce. And these things just don't show up in the portal. The customer isn't aware that that is even there. Even when it comes to things like comments, it's really easy for us to switch between public and internal comments, files, deliverables, tasks, risks, all of those kind of good things. And so you can keep the conversation central without having to create separate boards, separate spreadsheets, and possibly even pulling the conversation into email and Slack. But as you can see here, it very much looks and feels like a project management tool, right? And it kind of is, right, in the background. We've got a couple of tabs across the top, and I'm not going to go into too much detail in here because I could probably talk about this all day, but I just want to whip through a couple of these things. The success criteria for me is a very important one. Customer A buys from you for a different reason to customer B. That might be a very slight difference, but we want to obtain what the success criteria is. So we can put a bit of a description here. We can record what the business objectives of the customer are and the dates by which we're going to work on them and track those all the way through to completion, right? Again, the customer, when they sign into the portal, they can tick these off to say that the criteria have been met. Really powerful, especially if it's something that is subjective and we want the customer to feel that we have met that objective. I'm also going to share with you a couple of things across the top here. We have the risk register because, as everybody knows, things can go wrong in implementations and customer onboarding. And so as a head of customer success, I don't have the time to know about what's going on in every single project, but I need to be able to know the key things where I need to step in. So the team can raise a risk. Now, this might be that our champion has left or is leaving the organization, that we have some technical blockers, that the customer's not adopting the platform in the way that we thought that they should be doing. And so you can create a risk in here and track it through to resolution. Again, we've got the ability to have a conversation. These are internal conversations. Sometimes our customers like to have those conversations with the customer, so you can share these with the customer. But we're discussing how we're going to approach this. How are we going to make sure that, in this case, our champion leaving doesn't mean we're going to lose the account? So we can have a conversation internally about what's going on, how we're going to deal with this, and then create tasks associated with it. So again, we're just kind of, these are essentially risk mitigation tasks. So we've got the risk being raised, we're talking about it, and then we can clearly see who is responsible for taking those actions to make sure that the risk doesn't become a further issue. Okay. We also have an education tracker in here. Now, there's always going to be a level of teaching the customer how to use the application. Now, we don't build a course within here. We're essentially pointing to other resources for right now. And so the courses here may be a list of everything from your initial training through to your super user and your administrative training, or it might be something that's a little bit more modular depending on how your application runs. So this could be, pointing to a learning management system. It could be watching a YouTube video or just reading a knowledge base article. And within here, what we can do is then say, we're going to assign our customers' contacts to the training. And at a click of a button, I'm going to assign a couple of courses to Ava. Assuming this is turned on, Ava will then get an email saying, hey, Ava, you've just been assigned a couple of courses. Here's the details. Here are the dates by which we recommend you complete those. And then as we go through and update Ava's training to say this is complete, I can now see that Ava is 2/3 of the way through her training. And this was the second course. So you can see 2/3 of the way, 2/3 of the people have completed that course. We've got reporting from an education perspective at the course and the contact level for that cohort.